Welcome to our presentation. We are group number 5, and today we're gonna talk about the topic of definition, problems, solutions, and notes when translating song lyrics. There are 4 main parts of our presentation. The first one is definition, the second one is problems, the third one is solutions, and finally the notes. And now, let's begin with the definition. A song is a type of text in which the melodic form of expression is more important than the content of expression. Song translation is the process of translating the lyrics and meaning of a song from one language to another, taking into account the rhythm and number of sounds so that it can be sung according to the original melody. I would like to share with you some song translation techniques. There are 3 popular techniques. The first one is literal technique. Translating the meaning of a song refers to a major transformation from the source text to the target text, ensuring semantic fidelity. Here, one can find in the target text many semantic similarities such as content, characters, scenario. The second one is calque technique. Calque technique of a song refers to the transformation from the source text to the target text, in which the translator only retains the theme, scenario, and characters in the original when translating. The elements, cultural factors, have also been converted into cultural factors of the translated language. This is a translation method in which the translator mainly focuses on reproducing the content expressed in form. And the third one is adaptation technique. Adaptation technique is a method of translation in which the translation does not have any semantic or syntactic fidelity to the source text. In contrast, alternative text is completely new text translated to be sung to an existing melody, according to Lowe 2013. The only similarity with the source text is the melody. Therefore, there are songs adapted by translators that do not comply with linguistic and translation factors, only borrowing foreign melodies to put new lyrics into the song, thereby conveying a cultural message.
On behalf of Group 5, I will make a brief talk about the problems that translator might face when translating a song. So the first problem that I want to mention here is vocabulary. We are usually familiar with only 1 or 2 popular meanings of a word. However, there are many words which have a lot of meanings, and this can cause misunderstandings while translating the whole idea of the sentences. Secondly, it's about word length and syllable count. Vietnamese is a monosyllabic language, so the words tend to be shorter than English, which is a multi-syllable language, and this can affect the song's flow and timing. As a result, I think it's kind of challenging for translator to balance between maintaining meaning and fitting within the song structure. Thirdly, tone. The emotional tone and nuance of a song can be challenging to capture accurately in translation, because Vietnamese has 6 levels of tones, whereas English does not. The next problem that I want to mention is linguistic differences. Vietnamese and English have different grammar structure, word orders, and levels of formality. Especially when speaking of pronouns, it's uncertain to select the correct pronoun due to differences in terms of formality, gender, clarity, and cultural nuance in Vietnamese pronouns. For this reason, this can be a hard-solving problem when trying to translate the lyrics to sound natural in the target language. Next, I want to talk about cultural differences. You know, English and Vietnamese culture is totally different, and not having a thorough knowledge of English and Vietnamese culture can make it uncertain for translators to understand the content of the lyrics. And last but not least, audience understanding. As not everyone has the same background, language proficiency, age, and awareness, So the understanding of the audience group is different. And as a result, the way how people understand the content of the lyrics will vary depending on ages and their own understanding.
As Bảo Trân referred to some issue before, now let me show you some possible solutions to the problems when translating song lyrics. The first one is vocabulary. To deal with the problem of multiple meanings of words, you should try to understand the context and intention of the original lyrics, and choose the more appropriate meaning that matches the tones and message of the song. You can also use dictionaries or translation tools to check the definitions and examples of words in different languages. The second is word length and syllable count. To overcome the problem of different word lengths and syllable counts between Vietnamese and English, you should try to adjust the word order, word choice, and sentence structure of the translated lyrics to fit the melody and rhythm of the song. You can also use synonyms, antonyms, or paraphrases to express the same meaning with different words. The third is tone. To capture the emotional tone and nuance of a song in translation, you should pay attention to the use of tones in Vietnamese, which can change the meaning and mood of words. You should also consider the connotation and denotation of words, and avoid using words that are too formal, informal, or slangy for the song style and genre. And the fourth is linguistic differences. To cope with the linguistic differences between Vietnamese and English, such as grammar, word order, and formality, you should follow the rules and conventions of the target language and avoid literal translation, which can result in awkward or unnatural expressions. You should also make sure the translated lyrics sound natural and fluent. For example, when we translate pronoun from English song to Vietnamese song, how can we maintain naturality and fluency of pronoun in the song? I think it's easy. You should consider the factors such as formality, gender, clarity, and cultural nuances that affect the choice and use of pronouns in both languages. You should also try to maintain consistency and coherence of pronouns throughout the translation. The fifth is cultural differences. To overcome the cultural differences between English and Vietnamese, such as references, idioms, metaphors, or symbols, you should try to understand the cultural background and context of the original lyrics, and adapt them to the target culture if necessary. You can also use footnotes, explanations, or annotations to clarify or explain any unfamiliar or ambiguous elements in the translation. And the last one is audience understanding. To ensure that your translated lyrics resonate with your target audience, you should consider their cultural background and familiarity with both languages. You should also try to convey the meaning and message of the original lyrics in a way that is relevant and appealing to your audience. Okay, let's continue with the last part. Some notes when translating song lyrics from English to Vietnamese or vice versa. Number 1. Consider the rhythm, style, references, and meaning of the original song. Try to reserve these elements as much as possible in the translation, but also be flexible and creative when necessary. For example, you may need to adjust the word order use synonyms or change some cultural references to make the translation fit the melody and the target audience. Number 2. Listen to the original song and the translated song carefully. Compare them and see if they sound harmonious, fluent, and coherent. Check for any grammatical, spelling, or punctuation errors in the translation. Make sure the translation conveys the intended message and emotion of the original song. Number 3. Seek feedback from native speakers of both languages. Ask them if they understand and enjoy the translated song. Listen to their suggestions and opinions and revise your translation accordingly. Besides, you can also compare your translation with other existing translations of the same song to learn from their strengths and weaknesses. And the last one is consider the age of the audience and their musical preferences, expectations, and experiences. For example, we may need to use different techniques, style, and references for translating songs for children, teenagers, or adults, depending on the purpose and context of the translation. We may also need to be aware of the potential impacts of music and lyrics on the development and well-being of different age groups. That's all about our presentation. Thanks for your attention.